I'm bored. Let's watch YellowFlash. All right, board fam. So the Odyssey has a bunch of these guys crashing out this week. I've talked about it on the Nerdcast. I talked about it on the Copecast. We watched videos. We watched a video from, I believe, Nerdrotic. We watched a video from Ryan Kennel, Geeks and Gamers. And now we're watching YellowFlash also talking about this. And I cannot believe just the level of ignorance these guys have with this selective outrage. Because there's literally no Greek actors in any of the lead roles, as far as I know. No Greek actors. And I know it might be hard to believe, but being white is not the same thing as being Greek. Therefore, when they get mad about black people in these movies, it comes off as super performative and racist. So let's see what he has to say. By the way, he's probably watching video game footage because he's not on camera. He doesn't show his face on camera. So YouTube is cracking down on faceless accounts that just read articles. So it's going to be video game footage, which has nothing to do with what he's talking about. Anyway, let's get into this.
So unless you've been living under some kind of rock over the past year, I'm almost positive many of you know about Christopher Nolan's Odyssey movie that's coming out really soon. It comes out sometime in July 17th, actually, I believe is the correct date.
Okay.
And it's getting cooked quite a bit by people online right now. And the reason for that is because of a lot of the casting that has been announced recently. I think
a lot of the casting, I want to see who you bring up. I want to see which particular roles you have an issue with. Because again, no one in this movie, as far as I know, is a Greek actor. Just being white isn't the same as being Greek.
a lot of really strange decisions have been made, like Helen of Detroit. Now, this does not look anything.
Now, why do you call her Helen of Detroit? If it's not racist, fam, why are you calling her Helen of Detroit? I mean, we all get it. Like, that's the joke, is that she's black. So Helen of Detroit is fun. Like, these guys love names. They love funny names for people. It gets them hard. It gets them very hard. It makes them very erect, coming up with funny racist names. But let's see where they go with this.
Like Helen of Troy at all. In fact, she's a kid.
Wait. Hold on. What did you say there? The racism sidetracked me.
I think a lot of really strange decisions have been made, like Helen of Detroit. Now, this does not look anything like Helen of Troy at all.
Well, no one that has played this character, as far as I know, let me see. I want to double check, but I don't think anyone that's played her has been an actual Greek woman. But let's just check. All right, so as far as I could find, there have been 14 live action portrayals of Helen of Troy on film and television. That would be 15 if you include the Odyssey. That's all I could find. There might be more. But I think this is a big enough pool of appearances to make my point. We'll start in 1924 with Helena. Was that a Greek actress portraying Helen of Troy back then? No. 1927, The Private Life of Helen of Troy was portrayed by a Hungarian actress. 1931, The Queen of Sparta was not listed as a Greek actress. 1951 was a Swedish production. Was that a Greek actress? No. 1956, Helen of Troy was portrayed by an Italian actress. 1961, the Trojan Horse was portrayed by an Italian actress. 1964, there was a portrayal of Helen by a French/British actress. 1966, The Time Tunnel, Revenge of the Gods, Helen of Troy was in that, not a Greek actress. 1971, The Trojan Women, Irene Pappas played Helen of Troy. That is the one time that she's actually been portrayed by a Greek actress. 1973, no, was a German actress. 2003, Helen of Troy miniseries was an English actress. 2004's Troy was a German actress. on Legend of Tomorrow, if you're an Arrowverse fan, 2017, 2018, there was a Russian-born Israeli-American actress portraying Helen of Troy. 2018, Troy, Fall of a City, was portrayed by a German woman. And in 2026, Lapita is portraying Helen of Troy. So we've only had, out of the 15 that I looked up, only one of them has actually been from a Greek actress. So out of 15 portrayals in live action, only one of them has been ethnically accurate. That's the only one. So when you say she doesn't look like Helen of Troy and you're using a non-Greek woman from a Geeks and Gamers article side by side here as a comparison, you're showing me that you don't actually care about an accurate ethnicity portrayal of Helen of Troy. You just want her to be white. That's it. And just to be extra pedantic here, as far as I know from the research that I did from this era, Greek women would most likely have dark hair, if we're talking about being real. But it's a mythological story, meaning that it doesn't really exist anyway. So it's all sort of just being reductive when it comes to like talking about this. So let's continue to listen to him totally miss the point of an accurate portrayal of Helen of Troy.
In fact, she's a character that's pretty well described in the Odyssey, and even in other books. She is described as white, bright, light, or shining. Basically, she's described as a blonde white, I believe.
The Iliad and the Odyssey give us almost no description whatsoever of Helen's physical appearance. They do refer to Helen as white-armed, long-dressed, and lovely-haired, but none of these epithets are particularly descriptive. Furthermore, all three epithets I have just mentioned are generic stock epithets that are intended to show Helen's high status. Her arms are white because she does not have to work, meaning she can stay indoors out of the sun. She wears a long dress because she can afford one, and she has lovely hair because she can afford to spend the time to make it look lovely. The exact same epithets are also used to describe other characters in Homeric poems. For instance, white-armed is a common epithet used to describe the goddess Hera. So in the epithets, they actually do not point out the color of her skin. That's not what they're referring to when they say that. But these guys are either one, too stupid to know better, which to give them a little bit of grace on that, maybe they are, maybe that they're that dumb, or two, they know better, but they know their audience is stupid enough to believe them. So it's one of those two things. So again, it doesn't mean that she had white skin. But even if she did have white skin, it's a fictional story, and the actresses that have played her over the years have not been Greek.
It's been a long time since I've even looked at these books, but she doesn't look anything like Helen is supposed to look.
How do
And
you know?
that's all done intentionally. There's no story reason to do this or any reason to be authentic. This is all done for one reason. This is because Christopher Nolan wants to get in on awards.
Oh, okay. So you have proof of that? I'm assuming that you're going to follow that up with some sort of evidence that that's what he wants. Because as I always tell you guys, trust me, bro stuff doesn't work for me. I work in the world of evidence and reality. This is the DEI boogeyman that these channels like to create. There's going to be, I'm just going to, spoiler alert, I haven't watched this video. He's not going to have any proof of it. He's going to use this idea that there's some, insidious Hollywood, this vague Hollywood thing that he's going to talk about when it comes to these types of situations. Yes, it's true that award shows do include people for these kinds of things, but there's no proof that that's the reason why Christopher Nolan has done this. So let's see how YellowFlash brings this point.
Can't think of any other reason to do this other than Oscar.
Oh, you can't think of another reason. So that's it. Done deal. YellowFlash can't think of another reason that Christopher Nolan would do this, so it has to be for award shows. Of course. I should have known. Great detective work.
Oscar season bait, awards, or DEI initiatives pushed by the studio behind it, which is probably another factor in there because they all worship.
Do you have proof that the studio pushed him to cast these people in these roles? Do you have proof of that? Or is it just, again, trust me, bro, speculation. This is why I get so frustrated with these channels. When people talk about pipelines and stuff like that, how these guys funnel viewers into like alt-right bullshit. It's stuff like this. It's conspiracy theory nonsense. They don't have proof of any of these things. They just say it. So people put these videos on in the background and they keep listening to them over and over and over every day, and they get indoctrinated with this stuff.
The DEI ground, even still today as Hollywood burns to the ground. But yeah, this is stuff that's getting a lot of backlash.
Okay.
You know, and this guy was known as the flawless, no bad movies.
So I see Travis Scott here. So we're going to talk about the two black actors in this film, but ignore all of the non-Greek white actors in roles. I would love to see you talk about Tom Holland or Robert Pattinson, someone else that's not Greek, portraying a Greek character in this movie, and give it the same energy that you're giving these guys. I would love to see that, because then that would tell me that you have an issue with all of the casting, that it's not just about skin color, because that would be pretty fucking racist, right?
This guy, unless maybe Tenet. A lot of people don't like Tenet, but for the most part, Christopher Nolan, I would argue, has a pretty solid track record. He's like one of the last directors that when he has a movie come out, people want to go see it.
So why do you think then, if you have such high regard for Christopher Nolan, why do you believe he's bending the knee to Hollywood and the award shows? How do we get from point A to point B there? How do we reach that conclusion? I don't see any proof that someone that is highly regarded, that you're saying here, is one of the directors that people go out, they see the movie because they know that he's going to do something good. How we go from that to just accusing him of like doing this DEI project? How do we get there?
They want to see it. They want to know what happens. And it usually has legs and makes tons of money. It's
Right.
pretty easy to make money with Nolan's name attached to it. However, this could change everything. This could be his first tanking movie, his first bomb.
Right.
This movie might.
Because we have a bunch of racist people in this country. That's just the reality of it. If you don't have that same energy again for the non-Greek actors in the movie, then it's just racism. That's all it is. It's the skin color situation.
It could destroy his legacy.
Oh,
and,
right.
you know, he's not helping things. Apart from the awful Helen of Troy shit. And on top of that backlash, there's now backlash over the casting of Travis Scott, a rapper,
two black characters, right?
to be in the movie. Apparently he's going to tell the narrative and rap. Not quite clear if he's going to actually rap and if there's going to be rapping in it, but
let's go ahead and get angry about it, everybody. Go ahead and get angry. Get your pitchforks out. Get upset because a black guy has a role in a movie doing something that Nolan has called oral poetry, and clearly that means it's going to be like full-on hip-hop. Clearly that's what it means, because he references hip-hop music.
really retarded, especially when you look at the defense that he uses
Arsler.
for this. So his main defense for including a more modern rap.
He doesn't even really need a defense, right? This is such a weird way to put it. Why is he getting attacked? Like, would you admit that he's being attacked by people? And that's why he needs a defense? That's weird. Why would he need to defend himself over a casting that no one has seen on screen yet? We have no idea what it's going to be like, how good or bad it is. Is he just being attacked by racists? Is that it?
Rap tone is because, well, apparently these stories were told orally for a long time, even though they were written. And there was no orchestra.
Okay.
Then we're not going to have, an orchestra do the soundtrack, the music to this movie.
Right.
No. That didn't exist back then.
Okay.
So why are we doing this? Because with this, you want to be faithful to the time, but not really faithful at all to any of the characters, the deities, the Greeks. How many Greeks are even in this movie, by the way?
So you just now realized that there's no Greek people in the movie. But you made a video primarily focusing on the skin color of two non-Greek actors. Are you going to jump on board and start saying, hey, maybe you should have cast a lot more Greek people in the movie? Could you do that? That would be really cool. But let's see.
Are there any? I don't know. But, if we're going to go that far, they didn't have IMAX cameras back then either.
Wait. So you just glossed over quickly. You sprinted away from the fact that you just realized there's no Greek actors in any of the major roles in the movie. But you're still fixated primarily on Helen of Troy and Travis Scott. If you were filming this and you realized that in the middle of filming this video, you should have just said, you know what, maybe I shouldn't upload this video. Maybe I should make the video about like no Greek people being in the movie. But no, you left in all of the negativity about Lupita and Travis, even though you have realized here, where are we at in the video? Almost halfway through the video, that he hasn't cast any Greek people in the movie. And now you're talking about whether or not there were IMAX cameras back then. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? So you're like, oh, just don't film the movie at all. That's where we're at? This really dumb bad faith shit? Okay.
But you're using that for the entire movie. It's a very, very stupid change.
So wait, do you not want them to be true to the times, or do you? There's a little bit of, there's an issue here. So he's trying to keep some elements of this true to the era that these stories came from. You don't like that, but you also think that the black actors should be white so that it's more true to the era that the stories came from. It's funny that only the racist stuff moves the needle for you. That's really interesting.
So, a war, a man, a trick to break the walls of Troy. Scott, dressed as a storyteller, shouts in the clip as images of the Trojan War flash across the screen. It burning, screaming to the ground. But viewers quickly rush to social media to question Nolan's surprising decision to include the hip-hop icon in his latest flick. Nolan does not know what he's doing anymore. He really, really, really wants an Oscar for this film. One person tweeted following the news of Scott.
One person tweeted. Here's where we are. Somebody tweeted something about Christopher Nolan. One person, not a critic, not a studio insider. One person tweeted that he doesn't know what he's doing anymore. That was from an article. I don't even know where that fucking article was from.
That's role in the movie, and that's from Page 6, taking stuff out of his Time interview.
Page 6. So one random person on Twitter said that, and Page 6 decided to include that. That's interesting. Comprehensive, like journalism over there, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, I totally believe that. I believe personally that a lot of these decisions are done for awards, and you know all those bastards at the Oscars, they's loving the DEI shit.
It's so interesting that these guys have such disdain for black people, but then they love to talk in AAVE. It's really interesting to me. They love to mock black people by using AAVE in their videos and stuff like that. But it's not racist, everybody. Not racist at all.
Mandatory. No. You would never see a World War II movie that's not changed make a award.
World War II actually happened. The Odyssey did not. The Odyssey is not a historical retelling of something that really happened. It's a story. I mean, maybe you didn't know that, but World War II is real, and the Odyssey is not. But okay.
Season anymore either. Like you're just historical movies in general, you're gonna have to change up every.
The Odyssey is not real. It's a fictional story. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's literally like poetry from that era. What are you talking about? It's like they're not retelling history. You are comparing this movie to historical films and TV shows. I mean, this is a reach. These guys are desperate. They are desperate for another thing to go after. It's so fucking obvious.
Everybody make kings and queens of England black, all kinds of shit to get an award now. And that's why all this is done. That and, of course, studio.
But no proof. Like, you still have it. Trust me, bro, this is how I feel. This is what I believe is not proof of anything.
The DEI requirements. Woke shit is not going away anytime soon, even though it has kind of died down. Will this not crash the movie? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. I think, definitely opening weekend, it'll do.
Wait, you don't know? I thought it was Get Woke, Go Broke. You don't know? It seems to me like you were pretty confident in the beginning of this. It's a big problem for Nolan. This could be his first big flop. Remember? This could tarnish his legacy. It's all things you said in the video. But now you don't know. So is Get Woke, Go Broke not a real thing? It's only sometimes Get Woke, Go Broke?
Really, really well. But after that, we'll see. We'll see. It'll depend on if this is good. And maybe it will be. This could be a great spectacle that no one cares about. Maybe everybody just looks over all of this shit. Everybody's won over by the casting choices.
So what are we doing then? What are we doing here? What's the point of this video? Do you not have a point of view? Are you not standing on business? Is it not Get Woke, Go Broke every time? I mean, here you're saying now that you don't know what it's going to be and maybe everybody's going to love it. The title of this video was Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey Backlash Explained Why It Could Ruin the Movie. You really honestly haven't explained any of that. Like, everybody knows who the cast are. They've seen the articles. It didn't really need explaining, but you also haven't really shown why it would ruin the movie other than, oh my God, black people. That's it. So literally you're saying black people would ruin the movie? Okay, that's a bold statement.
Because the acting is so good. All that could happen. But this is all unnecessary backlash that didn't need to be a part of any of this. And just like with the Black Snake.
But do you know that they're going to be bad? Because you don't sound confident about it. So how can you judge the quality of their work before the color of their skin when you're already getting outraged about the color of their skin? This is poisoning the well. This is you going, let me put some of this poison in the water. I don't know if it's going to actually do anything, but we're going to go ahead and do that now just in case. Just in case. And now you're connecting it to the casting for Harry Potter, the TV series. Is it just any black person that's cast in a role that happens to be fictionally a different ethnicity or background or color? Like, is that what it's just anytime it happens? We're not going to look at the quality of it. We're just going to immediately start going after it because they're black.
Choices because the acting is so good. All that could happen. But this is all unnecessary backlash that didn't need to be a part of any of this. And just like with the Black Snape Harry Potter shit, it's kind of dominating the conversation completely.
Because of racist. That's it. And I'm saying, let me explain to you why I'm saying it's because of racist. It's not because of representation or accurate representation, or everybody would be demanding the entire cast to be Greek. That would be the argument. If everybody were just saying, hey, I'm not going to see this movie, or I want to boycott this movie, or this movie sucks because they're not actually hiring Greek actors to play in roles. If that were the stance or the position of any of these guys, I wouldn't really have anything to say because I don't necessarily disagree with that. Like, maybe it should have been all Greek people. Maybe that should have been the way it works out. But it's not. He didn't hire any Greek people to be a part of this. Meaning that when you specifically talk about the skin color of the actors, it moves beyond ethnicity and fidelity, and it just becomes, I don't like the black people in the movie. That's why it's racist. I just want to make sure you guys understand, because I know I get a lot of people in the comments, these haters that are like, oh, it's always racism, blah, blah. No, this is racist. It's literally just about them being black. Because he's already acknowledged in the video that a bunch of people in the movie are not Greek. But he knows that, but he's still talking about black castings. He's still going on and on about that. So it is just racism.
What he's talking about is Black Helen of Troy, rap music being in it, and then possibly Elliot Page playing Achilles.
Oh, so now it's trans people. So again, it's not just about people not being Greek. It's about any marginalized actor that has been cast in this movie. If you're a black person or you're a trans person, they don't want you in the films. And this is without seeing the movie. So it's racist and it's transphobic because you haven't seen the movie yet. If you went and saw the movie and you're like, I did not like Lupita in this movie because of this reason. I did not like Elliot Page in this movie because of this reason. If you wanted to have that conversation, I'm like, okay, I'll hear you out. But now you're doing it preemptive to the movie coming out. So you don't really have anything to stand on other than, oh my God, trans person, oh my God, black people.
Who will be in the movie in some fashion, probably through flashbacks. But now you're going to have a female to male trans person, Elliot Page, formerly Ellen Page. I believe that was her name, right? Good old Kitty Pryde. So she or he might be playing Achilles. Isn't that fascinating? I feel like that's another bold choice because, first off, Elliot Page's six-pack is fake. I mean, if you want a good version of Achilles, go watch the old Troy movie. Brad Pitt played a great one.
Another person that's not Greek, but they happen to be white. Yeah. I think you seem to really care about the accuracy of the movie and not just the gender or skin color of the characters that are being portrayed here. Seems like you really give a shit about that.
You should probably get somebody that looks like him to play Achilles, but no. This is what we're getting now in this. And what would the reason be for that? By the way, this is not confirmed, but this has been thrown out there for a minute. And I kind of think that this is probably a likely casting. The fact that we haven't heard anything, but we know Elliot Page, I believe, is in the movie. Been a lot of rumors flying around Elliot Page and this movie. First, I thought it was going to be the Cyclops, but no.
It's really, really funny to me that he's already established, YellowFlash has already established that he could be wrong about the quality of all of this, but he's still going on and on and on about it. I mean, it's just the ignorance and the nerve combined together with these guys is hilarious. It's annoying, but it's also hilarious.
They're gonna let Elliot Page play Achilles. Amazing. And by the way, yes, I just had to double check. Elliot Page is in the movie. There's just no announcement on what that role is yet. So we don't know. And that's why people are speculating who Elliot Page could be playing. What a shit show. That doesn't need to happen if Elliot...
Let's be clear here. Unless Elliot Page was playing a woman, these guys would complain. And they probably would complain then because it's Elliot Page, who is a trans man, that would be playing a woman, and they'd be like, well, you can't play a woman because you're a trans man, and you can't play a cisgender man because you're a trans man. So they just don't want Elliot Page in anything. Like, I can't imagine a role that Elliot could play in this film that would work for these morons. I can't imagine that. So just trans people aren't allowed to participate either.
Elliot Page plays Achilles. It's stupid. We need a real man to play Achilles. I'm sorry.
I'm sure you would love a real man, YellowFlash. I'm sure.
So we'll see. I just think that this movie is shaping up to be a disaster. Will it be a disaster? I don't know. There's always a chance. I've seen movies that I thought were going to make big money that had no controversy tank. And I've seen bad movies make tons of money.
So in other words, we're going to stop there. In other words, you're never right. It's always luck. You're never right. You're just lucky sometimes. And if you're not lucky, you just won't talk about it. So that way you don't look bad to your viewers. Get woke, go broke. Except sometimes. I just don't know. These guys are so annoying. It's so annoying and frustrating. Let me just wrap this up quickly. No one in the movie is Greek. Therefore, any complaints about skin color or gender for people who are not Greek doesn't matter because Christopher Nolan's already decided that it doesn't matter to him. Everyone in the movie is from different parts of the world, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different races, and different genders, apparently. So it doesn't really matter. None of that matters. If this movie is going to be bad, it's going to be bad because it's a bad movie. It's not going to be bad because of the casting, because the net is already wide. So if something doesn't work, it's not going to be because, there's a black person in the movie and therefore everything else in the movie sucked because of that. That's just dumb and it's racist. It's not going to be because a trans person is playing a cisgender character. That's not going to make the movie suck. Nobody's going to walk out of the movie and go, oh, the movie was 99% good, but I hate the whole movie because there was a trans person in it. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen either. Unless you're a transphobe. Or in the case of Lupita, unless you're a racist. Because otherwise there's no logical way to come to that conclusion unless you are those things. You can't, the car won't drive to that store on any other street. That's the only road you can go down. So, I'm sorry, you're out of luck here. These kinds of videos are very interesting because it's so obvious that it's just racism and it's just transphobia. It's just obvious because YellowFlash in the middle of the video realizes for a second that there's no Greek people in the movie, but then continues to follow the train of thought of bigotry about black actors. So it's never been more obvious to me. And also, I guess get woke, go broke isn't guaranteed. So anybody that's watching YellowFlash, what are you contributing to this for? Why are you engaging with this? I mean, unless you're an actual bigot, then that would make sense to me.